All right, as always, I'm Bob Tells by Bob. Reason for the season, as it were. Uh, so those who pay attention will know that I just my fourth book came out. Praying the Day's Not Poison, the fourth book in the Jubal County saga, came out, and I did a launch for it. I did a 4-day kind of launch event, and I'm a huge proponent for sharing the back end of stuff. I feel like as authors, we would all benefit from knowing how other authors specifically are doing. Being able to look at someone operating in the same space as you and seeing how their sales are doing, how that compares to your sales. What are they doing differently? Are they doing better than you? Well, what can you duplicate? Are they doing worse than you? What can you suggest to them? We should always be helping each other. So to that end, I'm going to break down my launch process and kind of how the sales went. So start point is about 2 weeks before launch day. I set up my free days and my discounted days for books 1, 2, and 3. I set book 1 for free and book 2 and 3 for 99 cents each. And so it runs for all 4 days of the launch. Also, I reviewed my proof copy, found out that it was that my cover was misaligned, even though I used Amazon's template. Fixed that, reordered it, and then it was acceptable, so I accepted it. And then I made sure I made a list of all the places that I wanted to post about it for the launch. I didn't miss anything. Where I tend to have a lot of my success is in the fantasy subreddit. So they do not allow you to just promo willy-nilly there. You have to be an active member of the community, and then you have to reach out to the moderators and get them to okay your post ahead of time. So I did that about a week ahead because they're busy folks. They're not going to get to it immediately. So if you're trying to oh God, I'm about to launch in 2 hours, you're not going to have a response in 2 hours. It took about a day and a half, I think, maybe 2 days. So I was an active member, so they okayed it. So we were good to go there. I sent them a copy of the post that I was proposing. They were like, cool, you're good. So the morning of the day before launch, I clicked publish on the print version. I've gotten burned in the past. The problem is it can take up to 24 to 48 hours for your print book to publish. And I think the last time I did this, I tried to do it the evening before, and it didn't actually publish till noon-ish of launch day. So I wanted to make sure that it was that the moment people saw the link, if they wanted to get a print version, they could. And so of course it published 6 hours later. So it published early. Fine, whatever. Not the end of the world. So on launch day, I got up a half hour early than I normally do, and I started making posts. I posted on Reddit. I posted to the fantasy subreddit, the urban fantasy subreddit, ebook deals, and free ebooks. I think I'm shadow banned in urban fantasy. I don't know. None of my posts show up. I've messaged the mods to find out. They allow promo. I don't know why I would be shadow banned or what. I can comment there. The posts don't get deleted. They just never show up. It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, they've never responded to me. So I don't know what's going on there. So I had no luck there, which sucks because that's my, target market. I also posted in a popular urban fantasy Facebook group called Fans of Urban Fantasy. And then I just posted across all my social media. The second day I hit my email list. And then my two best posts that got the most traction were on the fantasy subreddit and the free ebooks subreddit. And that's where I suspect the majority of my sales came. I also was very fortunate that a few bigger name authors shared my launch. Rachel Brune, Bobby Nash, John Hartness. Y'all get all my love for that. Thank y'all. Yeah, and so then I also posted to a bunch of smaller places, like some smaller subreddits and Facebook groups over the next few days, and kind of trying to stagger the attention because I wanted to keep my books on the charts as long as possible. But I don't think that had a huge effect. Maybe a little bit. There are some like Facebook groups that are specifically for promo. I just don't know that those really generate sales. I feel like those groups are primarily just a bunch of authors in there. So yeah. So how did my sales go? And I'm going to compare them to the last launch. Book one, sales were meh. Okay. It's the first book. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. Second book, was slightly better, but didn't really do much in the way of promo for it. Like I was still kind of finding my way. But the last book was the first book that I really hit it hard and heavy and kind of followed this promo pattern. So, all right. So day one, I gave away 7. So if it's given away, it was obviously book 1. And if it was paid, it could be books 1, 2, or 3. I'm not breaking that out. But so I'm going to give you 2 numbers. The first number I give you will be how this launch went, and the second number will be how the last launch went. So day one, I had 139 paid. Last time 179. Free, I gave away 720, and last time I gave away 629. Day two, I had 58 paid, and last time 33 paid. Free, I gave away 159 this time. Last time it was 97. Day 3, I had 14 paid. Last time I had 22 paid. Gave away 65 this time. Last time was 74. Day 4, I had 8 paid. Last time I had 7 paid. And free, I gave away 26. Last time I gave away 35. So the total is I had 219 paid versus 241 paid. And free, I had 970 free versus 835 free. So I sold 22 less books, but gave away 135 more. And then my KU page reads, they spiked starting from day one, because a lot of people will see this and be like, oh, hey, I can read these on KU. So they will just start reading them. And so page reads for those days were 544, 559, 1,284, and 1,176, which is a good 4-day stretch. So how does that break down money-wise? So I use the KDP royalty estimator. Oh, all right. Let me make something clear also. Amazon, if you really do a deep dive on my stuff, you're going to see that on a previous blog post, I had my like analysis of a book launch 2, I believe it was, or no, 1. Analysis of a book launch 1, the first one I did. I think the numbers are probably going to show differently. That's because Amazon between then and now have started tracking stats differently. So you can still view the old stats. And so what I was noticing, I would view old stats versus the new stats. And the old stats would log the sales pretty much immediately, but the new version wouldn't. So if you looked at it, like I had more paid on day 1, but less on day 2 that way. So it kind of tracked more with the previous time. But yeah, so it made things kind of confusing, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, so I'm using I use their royalty estimator, which does factor in KU prices. So my last launch, I made $400.73. This time I made $290.83. So I didn't break even on the book over launch, but it got pretty close. But also, here's the thing: all my print sales that I made during that time, they don't log until they actually print and ship. So none of those printed and shipped until after my launch was over. So, and I looked into it, and so like the monthly total for my last launch was like $450 or something like that. My monthly total for this launch ended up being over $400 after, like, the 3 days after the sale ended, I brought in another $73. So yeah, that was, so how do I feel about it? So I feel like it was roughly equivalent to last time, because you got to think these are places that I've advertised all this before. So some people have already bought book 2 and 3, so I sales being less kind of makes sense. The other thing that I don't know, I think the last sale people assumed it was a trilogy, and so they were more prone to getting on it because a lot of people like trilogies. A lot of people don't like really long ongoing series. Some people really do though, but those people tend to have Kindle Unlimited, and they're going to read them on Kindle Unlimited. So when I had a fourth book, I think that's partly why might be partly why my sales were a little bit less, but my free were a little bit more. People were less inclined to buy, but more inclined to check it out, maybe because they see, oh, okay, he's still putting out books. There's got to be at least some quality here. Maybe, I don't know. What would I do differently? 5 things. One, I, I, and I've since done this. Got to make a checklist for publishing, so ahead of time, so I don't forget all the things I need to do, as well as all the places I need to post. 2, and I said this last time, and because I didn't have the checklist I just referenced, I forgot to do it. But I need to include a link to my email list in all my social media posts for this. There's a huge missed opportunity. Thousands upon thousands of people saw this. People who, bought books, yada, yada, yada. And it would have been perfect to be like, hey, if you sign up for an email list, you can get a free story set in this world. And that would have been fantastic. Third, I would like to try and get on some promo sites like Book Barbarian. You have to pay to be on those, but I have heard good things about it. But I just waited too late in the game. When I looked, the days for my launch were already booked. So, whoopsie. Fourth, I didn't do this. I need to do this. I'd like to reach out to people I know that have large followings to see if they will share it. Now, I had some people just organically do that, and it was fantastic. But I do have a few other people that probably didn't occur to them to do it, and I could at least ask, like, hey, would you consider, sharing this? You have a lot of followers. That would be cool. So that, I'll try that. Fifth, I had a lot of competition that day. A lot of books in my genre launched that day. There were some indies that launched, up to some pretty big. I think Iona Andrews launched that day. She's a huge urban fantasy author. So I was competing for airspace with Iona Andrews, basically, which I don't think there's a huge ton of overlap necessarily between what she writes and what I write, but they're both urban fantasy, and yeah. So it's going to be impossible to just find a day where only I'm publishing, but making sure, like, if I could look to see that the big names aren't putting out a book on the day I choose, that would probably be a good thing. So yeah, it was a successful launch. Here's the best part. I've gotten a ton of reviews off this. I'm nearing 100 reviews on book 1, which is a huge achievement. All of you who are listening that have left reviews, I appreciate that so much. But the reviews have been trickling in on all the books. So that was great. I got a couple folks from this that have shaped up to be fans. They were like, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Went to my website, explored all the content there, bought all the books in print, yada, yada, yada. And that just hits different, that is such a good feeling. So that was great. It was a successful launch. My one quibble with myself, I mean, this is not anyone's fault but mine, is book 1 to book 2, book 2 to book 3, it kind of is exponential, in how the launches have been going, exponentially better. This launch was not exponentially better. It was roughly equivalent to the last launch. I had great interaction from it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy with the launch. That said, in my head, overly optimistically, I had hoped that it would be exponential as well. I was hoping for $1,000 launch. That was my. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? That would pay for editing, for a lot of editing. But didn't get that. had a good launch. Wasn't a mind-blowing launch. And so clearly I've got to do something different come next launch. I feel like there's like a critical mass to these things. If you can reach a critical mass of a number of people who have read your book and left reviews and word of mouth it, that the thing will start to kind of organically grow on its own. Like if people would start leaving reviews on the fantasy subreddit about this, that would get it on people's radar and yada yada yada. So I haven't hit that point yet, though. I I don't know. I feel like I'm close-ish, not super close, but like I'm at least close to a point where I could see where it could trigger. Maybe I don't know. And I think until I hit that, I just don't know that my launches are going to get substantially better. They may not. These could go weirdly viral somehow. Wouldn't that be great? I could blow up on Book Talk or something. Who knows? But so I've got to figure out something to kind of change things up for me, to kind of get to that next level. I don't know what that is. I'm going to be doing a lot of research, trying to figure out, and I'm going to be talking to folks. I've now got friends that are bigger name authors than me that I can be like, hey, here's where I'm at. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? So I don't know. We'll see. In short, it was a great launch. I know I just spent the past couple minutes shit talking about it. No, it was a great launch. Very happy with it. I'm very appreciative to everyone who bought my books, got my books for free. Doubly thankful for the folks who left reviews, and triply thankful for the folks who shared my posts and helped me get more sales. So yeah, if you've got a launch coming up and you would like me to share your launch, just reach out. See what I can do. I don't have a ton of followers, but every little bit helps. If I can do anything to help you with your launch, let me know. Happy to help. Even if you just want to talk it through. So yeah. Till next time. Cheers, y'all.